My goodness, Higgins. It's time to podcast again.
Ain't it ever?
And, life's pretty short, so I want to get as many of these as I can.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, but you want to get as many intros as you can. You said you had an intro before the show.
Oh yeah, for sure. I got you on that. You mentioned we don't got much time. We got a lot of things to do before we get there. It's like some people like to make a list, but I just do it straight off the dome. I'm a little different.
Yeah.
I got what they call a bucket brain going on.
You're quirky, Higgins, and you know what? I love that about you.
And you'll never guess what number 26 on my list is.
On your list of what?
Of things to do.
Things to do?
In my bucket brain.
Before your bucket brain? Okay.
Before I hit the mortal, I don't know what they call it.
Before they send you off to the farm.
Yeah,
for a nice, happy retirement. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what are you doing before that, though?
So number 26 on my list happens to be make a podcast about a comic book that also has a bucket list in it.
Oh, my God.
Luckily, it wasn't a movie because I don't remember the last time I saw that movie with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson in it.
I watch it once a night, but, that's on my bucket list. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess, so make it a podcast. Is this anything about making a podcast with a friend?
I mean, it has it in parentheses. So
okay, that's
you're
good.
fine.
As long as it's implied.
I just, I didn't read it because I thought
Higgins, there's no time.
Stage directions.
Exactly. Let's get on with the show.
All right, let's do it.
Higgins, we're back, but I'm going to let you do the intro this time.
Oh my gosh.
Because again, time is short and money and
yeah, I guess I should just do it. It's going to be, guys, this is going to be a loose one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comrades, Cocktails, and Comics, where we,
roll with it.
read with you, drink with you,
Yep.
and most importantly, we read with you. There's one in there I forgot.
Oh my gosh, all three important things, yes.
There's one of the other ones in there.
Now roll that teleprompter out of there so you're done with your script.
But
let's just hop into it. We're doing all the things that you've said, Higgins.
yeah, I'm here with my co-host, Snoop Lynch.
That's me, yes.
And I'm Higgins Sturm.
That's you.
And I'm knocking it out of the park, guys.
Always, every time, forget about it. Never a dull day. And
number 34, crossed off.
Higgins, you're spouting off a lot of numbers and things about lists. Is there a reason for that this month?
Yeah, we're reading a book called Zom100, and it's also got some parentheses in there, or like one of those
Those colon things.
Yeah.
100
things I want to do before I become a zombie.
Yeah, that's it.
So I have to say a lot of bucket list jokes this episode. Luckily, I've got like 4 or 5 right off the top.
Just cross those right off the list, yeah.
Yeah.
So Zom100, Bucket List of the Dead. It's a manga, Higgins, as you know, because you read it, and so did I. And we read manga sometimes on this podcast.
Yeah, I read it in the dubbed version. I hope that's okay.
I think it's allowed. I mean, subs v dubs, subs win, obviously, Higgins. That joke, yes. But this one was dubbed and originally written by Haru Aso, and art was by Kotaro Takata. That's my best guess at how to pronounce those names. I think I did all right.
I think when they listen to this episode, they'll think you did just great.
Those two people that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hope so. Maybe they'll leave a nice review.
Yeah.
And say, yes, that's definitely how you pronounce my name. But yes, they published this book actually this year. This is a pretty recent story.
Yeah, that's what you were going for.
Yeah, I'm
knocking
trying to
out some new boys.
Well, might as well, We like to stay relevant on this here podcast. And so I picked a book from this year, and it's got a pretty cracking start. There's only 3.5 chapters in this first volume we read.
Yeah, it was probably like one of the shortest ones we've read in a while, which I'm fine with.
I think there's a reason it went by as quick as it did for me, and it's probably the same for you. But just in general, yeah, it's a comedy, but it's almost kind of also an action movie as well. Like a lot of the settings are really over the top and extreme, but that's just the setting to kind of sell the jokes and silly antics. And
it's got, like some pretty big Shaun of the Dead vibes. It's just a good old-fashioned goof in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, and he just wants to do some things that he never got to do.
Before he can't do them anymore.
And
we kind of touched on that last episode, where the thing that really drew me into this, because I like most people probably these days don't really care that much about zombies. Like it's been there, it's been done countless times. So
no, man, I'll watch them all.
All the
I'll get
time,
all
every
of them.
time. All right. Well, you're a rare breed because for the most part, I'm kind of sick of zombies, like most people are, just because we got it for about like 10 years after The Walking Dead started, and it's kind of a hard sell for me at this point. But what I did like about the story that initially drew me in was the motivations of that character are basically just due to this zombie outbreak. This book isn't about the zombies, it's just about what am I going to do in this new world full of zombies. And there's no lingering questions of, is there a cure? Maybe humans are the real monsters all along, Higgins. Maybe they're the real zombie. Like, there's none of that in this.
Maybe he'll be a hero one day, but for now, he just wants to drink beer and hang out all day and watch TV.
Yeah, because this regular old goof, his name's Akira Tendo, I think.
Man.
Sounds close.
Yeah, Tindu.
Yeah.
Tindao.
But yeah, Akira Tendo, he spent 3 years working at like this company that just took all the life out of him, just metaphorically.
Yeah, just a terrible work environment, unpaid overtime that's basically forced.
Mm-hmm. His first day, he was really excited. It's for a production company. I'm assuming he's just like in pre-production because he sits in an office all day, every day, occasionally gets a lunch break, but then has to immediately go back to work, everyone yells at him.
It sounds like he was writing like scripts or something like that because he got yelled at by somebody to do like a rewrite of a script for like for one of his jobs.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I do remember that now. You mentioned his boss constantly yells at him about stuff like that. And that makes it kind of even more interesting because that's supposed to be more on the creative side as far as careers go. And yet this dude, you can quickly tell from like the first few panels, is just drained of life entirely because this is all he does. And he doesn't love what he does, but he just does it because he's supposed to. And then one day he wakes up and there's zombies everywhere, and all he can think is, sweet, I don't have to go to work anymore.
Like, I don't have to go to work anymore. I can just do whatever.
And I think that's where the heart of this book is, and I think that's why it works for me as well as it did. I really liked this. I've read it probably 3 or 4 times at this point. One, because as you mentioned, it's just a super fast read, but also I just really loved going back and kind of poring over each of these situations he got himself involved in. And it's not a lot, but there is kind of like subtle character building moments they're kind of working in as it goes.
Yeah, he's got to get to the point where he actually needs to do something besides just live free for a little bit, basically.
Mm-hmm. But I think a majority of what he will do is that, and I find that really kind of endearing. Like, it's at least starting out, this is just kind of about him making up for this lost time, because when he comes up with this bucket list, and it's actually for a pretty sad reason, because it's not like instantly he decides he's going to do all these things before he dies, or as he puts it, before he turns into a zombie. It's only after kind of goofing off and just doing whatever he wanted to that day that he realizes this is still a pretty bleak situation he finds himself in. It doesn't necessarily like ruin his attitude or take away any of his motivation to do what he wants to do, but it makes him think, what's the most important thing to him?
And he starts off with a banger. I think my favorite one was when he's just like, I'm going to go talk to my buddy that I haven't seen in forever, and I didn't see him forever because my job sucked so bad and I just worked all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so he calls up his buddy. He's like, thank God I got phone service now. It's like we're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, but AT&T won't quit. And
that loyal company, AT&T, they
just won't quit. He's like, man, I can finally use my phone now that there's less people using their phones.
Finally, all that 5G just for me.
Man, he was like, I can just do anything.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a Harley Davidson motorcycle. He's like, I'm going to ride that to my buddy's place. And then they get like chased, and then he jumps across like the gap between 2 buildings, and you're like, it's like, that's pretty ballsy. It's like, I know you don't like, you're just trying to get stuff done before you die, but like that could have ended it real quick.
You could have only made it to number 14 on that list.
And then his buddy does it naked, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. You didn't even want to, and then you took your clothes off to do it. But he's the class clown. He's the goof.
Anything for a good laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, good laugh.
Yeah. I didn't think they would really kind of focus on other characters besides Akira, especially this early on. But introducing his friend, I think
Kinji.
Kinji or Kinjo, you get a nice little kind of quick backstory on their relationship and how, like you said, they hadn't talked in at least a couple years because he saw his friend as having this really luxurious, amazing lifestyle and was jealous and kind of snapped at him the last time they all hung out. And so that was it. But that's another kind of cool thing about this setting is it's making him rethink a bunch of things in his past and go, okay, like what are some relationships that I might want to mend? Like what have I not been doing that I should have been for the last 3 years? And so, yeah, he calls his friend up and finds out he's in danger and he just rushes over to go save him. And what I like about him getting into these kind of adventures is because it's so sudden and so just go with the flow, he is making it, but kind of just by chance. Like he said, him jumping across that building, it wasn't a graceful landing. He was pretty banged up. He's not an idiot, but he also isn't just thinking things through. He's just kind of going based off of instinct, and it just kind of works out.
He's like, I want to do it, so I'm going to do it. But no, the one other thing I liked about that one was that guy was kind of a ladies' man, and then he just happened to be stuck in a room with a zombie gal stuck to a BDSM like cross thing, X thing. She's just stuck, and he's like, "Thank God I was in here. Otherwise, I would have been attacked by this zombie that's handcuffed to the wall."
He gets lucky like that a couple times, actually, which I might go into later. But Akira is kind of, I think the reason why he's the main character is because he is also inspiring the people around him, because Kincho had pretty much given up on living, and it wasn't until Akira kind of gave him that pep talk on the roof and asked him, kind of,
like, hey, what do you want to do?
What do you do? I'm doing what I finally wanted to do, and it doesn't sound like that's what you've been doing, so maybe you should get over here and do it in a funny way, because it turns out that his friend wanted to be a stand-up comic and not a real estate agent.
Oh, yeah. He wanted to bring joy to people.
Exactly.
Instead of fake joy on his face.
Just selling lies and bad contracts. He's not about it, but he's about making people laugh. And yeah, his only shtick is that he just gets naked. And that's pretty funny. I mean, but don't get me wrong. But
don't tell Carrot Top this, but prop comedy is the lowest form of comedy. But I mean, you got to start somewhere. Like I said, first step starts the journey and all that jazz.
Yeah, and I mean, if you got it, flaunt it, Higgins.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Mm-hmm, yeah. What do you think about our other supporting character,
Samuchi, or I don't know what her name is.
Bless you, Higgins.
Is that it?
No,
it's that girl that's in the grocery store, right?
He calls her Miss Risk Analyst because their first encounter, he asks if. Oh,
are you talking about Atori-san?
Again, bless you, Higgins.
Is that what you're talking about?
I'm
like
talking
the
about
the lady he worked with.
No, I'm talking about the girl. So basically, there's a chapter where he goes to get beer because he's out of beer.
It was the grocery store girl then.
Yes, she's at the grocery store. Yeah, but he goes to get beer and he sees this one girl, instantly attracted to her, and he asks, "Hey, you want to survive this zombie apocalypse together?" And
like we could work together.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Well, you just came here for beer, so maybe not."
Mm-hmm. She basically calls him out, saying, "You risked your life for something as not essential as beer." They only have this one encounter in this volume. She's very much, I'm going to do the bare minimum and what is logical to make it out of this alive. And being around someone like you who just does things spur of the moment, that's not going to work out for me. But she does, as she walks away, just kind of make a comment about she hasn't seen someone look so happy before, just thinking about getting a drink.
Yeah, I was thinking of the dessert was where I got like the Samuchi thing from. She wanted something like a Sakura mochi or something like that. I guess is what it is.
Yeah.
And she's like, but no sugar. But that's why I thought that's what her name was, I guess. Because she has her own little issue, like a half issue.
Yeah, she's the 3.5 chapter at the end that we read.
Yeah, it tells her part of the story from like that scene.
From that encounter, yeah.
Yeah, and like I guess like what she's been doing up until that point too.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting to throw that in. I guess they just kind of wanted to, they wanted to fill a volume, and so they were thinking like, okay, we don't want to start like a brand new arc.
Well, when like it's pretty implied that it's going to be the woman of his dreams, or at least for the time being, or something like that.
It could be. With this story, which I also liked, is it is still a pretty sad story at points, and it could kind of go either way. I mean, I feel like they may be dropping an early hint just from the get-go with his bucket list. I don't know how long they plan on going with this. Like I said, it just came out this year, and so they're just getting into it. But I kind of think that by the end, when this is all said and done, he'll probably either just die or become a zombie. And they could do something.
Once he finishes number 100, probably, right?
Yeah.
Well, if they want to.
He's kind of jumping around all over the place, you know? He's just like, oh, I'll do this. I'll do number 30 today, and then I'll go back to 2 tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. You can't do all of this in a day. Like growing dreadlocks, you can't do that in a day.
It's going to take time, yeah.
You got to grow his hair out.
I mean, he did grow that really itchy, gross beard in about 5 minutes, so that... Some of these are a little too easy.
Yeah, I mean, he can do those more than one time, but he had never done it before, so it was a big step for him.
Yeah, you know, baby steps, big steps, whatever it needs to take to finish that list, I'm with you.
You know what else is on my bucket list, though? In my bucket brain, I mean?
What's that?
Stopping in the middle of the podcast to make us one more of these great drinks.
Oh my goodness, Higgins. Sorry, Charlie. Scared the dog. But Higgins, you're right, because... We've been talking about reading, but we haven't been talking about drinking. So yeah, like we'll take a break. For us, it'll be a break. For them, it'll be absolutely no time at all. And you'll tell them about what we've been drinking this whole time.
Yeah. You want me to wait until we get that, or just hop in?
Do whatever your list says, man.
All right.
I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
I'll tell them, that way they can get it while we're getting it. And so Snoop sent me a big list of drinks. And now it's everywhere. I hope you're happy.
Go on.
But no, Snoop sent me a list of 100, and actually 103 drinks. And he was just like, just pick one of these and make it a surprise. And I didn't realize that it was in alphabetical order until like halfway down the list. So I was like, Z's the 26th letter in the alphabet. So I'll pick the 26th drink. And that was a Cuba Libre.
Oh, that's what I've been drinking.
Yeah. And a Cuba Libre is just a rum and Coke. But with a hint of lime.
Okay. That's
yeah, you splash some lime juice if you want. They technically said to use lime wedges, but I was like, we got lime juice already. I'll use that. That'll be fine. Serviceable.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And then it's just like 1 part of your choice of rum and 2 parts of the Coca-Cola.
It's pretty good.
It's a pretty good drink. It's a solid drink.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I did it.
You know, it would be even better.
It's got a fun name too, though.
It is a fun name. You said it's called a what? A Cuba
Libre.
Cuba Libre.
Yeah.
Oh, must be French.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you want to make another one of those though?
Yeah, I'll make one of those. Tell them about your shot while we're gone.
Oh, I'll just wait till you get back.
All right.
I'll drink more of this Cuba Libre. Am I saying it right?
Cuba Libre.
Higgins, you're back already. It's like you were never gone.
I know. It's the magic of podcasts.
And Cuba Libre. And that's not the only drink that we've had today, Higgins. Because I also picked a drink. Now, did you figure out what my drink was?
Oh, I for sure knew what it was already.
Why don't you just tell the good people?
I love a buttery nipple.
See, I've never had a buttery nipple.
And I love drinking buttery nipples.
Well, I'm glad that I could do one of those things for you. Yes. Yeah, see, I've known about it forever, and I've never had it. And I have to say, glad I did. Glad I can knock that off the bucket list.
No, it was one of the specials one night at the local spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought probably too many for me and some buddies a couple times. So,
but as long as you got most of them, right?
I mean, I got like the same amount.
How do you make your buttery nipple? What's your technique?
I have no idea. I give the bartender a couple dollars, and they're like, "Here you go."
Oh my gosh, a tried and true method.
Yeah,
I think that's worked for a really long time. You should keep doing that.
Oh yeah, I will.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that if you add just a dot of grenadine, that's the nipple part of the buttery nipple?
Oh, is it? Did you do that?
No, I didn't.
Oh man.
Yeah, no. I started to, and then I thought it might look real creepy.
Oh yeah, just like a drop of blood or something like that.
Basically, yeah. I don't want to drink no bloody nipple.
It'd be like that one scene from that Midsommar movie where you're like, why is that one a little bit orange?
I guess we don't have to talk about that. We're not talking about that at all. But what we do need to talk about is things that happened in this book that we have been talking about.
Oh yeah, we could.
We've pretty much gone over everything that you and I have both read. Like I said, I read the second volume, and it's more of the same, but in a good way. They already start to kind of go more into the relationship with the girl and Akira. They have a little rendezvous, and I really enjoyed it. What I really like about this book, besides those themes of just kind of living life to the fullest, is how they use zombies as the kind of overall setting. The world they're in is just our world. It's mundane, just like anything else, and that's what almost drove that guy to insanity and probably suicide.
Oh
But
yeah.
now
Yeah,
that
you're right.
there's just all this chaos going on, they're going back to these regular settings, but with a fun new twist. In the second volume, there is a part where they go to the aquarium, and there's a fight with a zombie shark, but not in the way that you think there'd be.
Oh man.
It's not your regular kind of zombie
I
shark.
don't know how to take that, but I
Yeah.
guess it's fine.
It's pretty cool, and it's just wacky and weird. And even when that stuff kind of happens, they never forget that this book at its heart is a comedy, because the main character never really loses his cool at this point. And I like that just because anything to him is better than what he was already doing. So death around every corner means nothing to him because he was already just basically dead inside.
It's like the most phase I think I saw him was when he walked outside like the second time, and he's like, God, there sure is a lot more zombies today. That's gonna be a bit of a pain.
Yeah, it's never like really just, he never has like this internal crisis of, oh my God, my life is over. I'm going to die. I'm going to become one of them. I know it. Like, he doesn't really worry about that. He just worries about what's he going to do today? Is he going to go to the store and get some beer and then just get wasted for the rest of the night? Is he going to play video games all day? Like, he's making up for the time that he's already lost these last 3 years. But he does have moments where you kind of get a deeper look into him as a person, because it's not that he doesn't care about his own well-being. It's just that he knows doing what he wants to do is more important, but he also really cares about people. There is a family in, I think this first volume, is there's a family that lives beneath them that, or beneath him, that you get glimpses of.
Oh man, I was just about to say it when we got where I could like fit something in. So I'm glad you're mentioning them. They're like one of my favorite parts too, and I'm a little upset.
It is upsetting, and I'll kind of like cue it up and you can kind of take it from there. But yeah, basically his family, or this couple that lives below him in his apartment complex, he has to climb down to get away from the zombies and get out into the city. And so he occasionally will offer to pick them stuff up from the store. And it's just a fun, like, kind of sweet little moment between these neighbors that have never seen each other.
It's like, oh, are you sure? It's like, we do need a little bit of toilet paper, thanks.
Yeah, I think the woman asks if he can pick her up like a Cosmo or something.
Yeah, like a People's Magazine, maybe.
Yeah,
or an Us Weekly.
Exactly. She's like, the dirtier the better, please. So yeah, it's just a very small moment, and they only cut back to it a few times, and the reason is for kind of the final visit, and I'll let you kind of go into that and how you felt about it, because I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, no, I thought this was going to be a long-running gag, like maybe like Wilson on Home Improvement, where we just see like a nice chat between them every now and again, and then he's just like, okay, I'll go grab you like some butter now.
Yeah.
I think I could have been all right with him dying, because a little bit later, because I almost think they could have just been like, okay, we're gonna keep seeing he's gonna keep seeing these neighbors, and then all of a sudden, like, boom, they're dead, which does happen just way too early.
It does, yeah.
And if it had happened later, I was like, man, it could have been like one of the things that, like, oh man, like almost breaks the spirits a little bit. But by this point, he's just like, well, that sucks. It could have been a bigger letdown, I think, if he had had more interactions with them, for both the reader and him.
Yeah. They only have like 2 or 3 interactions before he comes back, and it's a really kind of just somber moment where it's like, hey guys, I got you that stuff you wanted, and then you realize, oh, they got attacked, they're dead, because there's blood everywhere on that balcony. And you do kind of see this look on his face of realization that, oh yeah, this is still a very like serious situation that we find ourselves in. This is a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
But this is after a bunch of stuff has already happened, and so he's kind of got this new mindset of not letting anything hold him back. And so the lesson he takes from their death is to create that bucket list and make sure that, because he realizes he's probably gonna die. Like, it's very much a possibility. And so he wants to make sure that he does everything that he's been neglecting for the last 3 years because of this job that he already hated. But he felt like he had to work there. He felt like he had to give his life to that company. And now he's got a new lease on life. And so, yeah, to have this really sad moment also kind of be something inspiring and motivating for the main character, I thought was a really like simple move, but one that paid off in a really good way.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really have any more else to say about it. It's a short book, so it makes sense that we have some short content for this month.
Yeah.
But they just got a podcast like 2 weeks ago, so be grateful for that.
They did? These guys?
The people that we send podcasts to.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We did just release Bone.
Yeah, it's been close to a month since then.
Yeah, more or less.
I do have an idea if you're willing to like let this thing fly for a little bit longer.
I guess so.
I have an idea for a bit. I'll come up with a theme song later, but
can you hum some music now to go with it?
Yeah. Readings for squares.
It's good. It's good.
We'll workshop something.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
But like, just add like it's real abrupt. Readings for squares.
I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. You want to put like a little record scratch somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, maybe
or
something
like a car crash kind of sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But basically, just instead of the this or that thing, which was a great idea, Andy. Don't get us wrong. Perfectly serviceable.
Just like everything you do, Andy.
But one of the main things I hear about people that like are kind of interested in our thing, but that aren't super about comics, is like, I wish you guys would talk about something else. And it's like, I know
Higgins, that's why we talked about this manga.
Yeah, and that's fine and dandy. But they wanna get the big picture stuff.
Okay.
So reading for squares is this idea I had where me and you just talk about maybe like one thing that really struck our eye in either the video game, movie, or TV world.
Oh, okay.
And it can't be books. I mean, we can make a new theme song if I want to include a full wordy book, but
we'll have to put more time in the studio for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It took you a whole week to come up with that one you just did. So
yeah, so for now, just readings for squares.
All right. Well, for the first ever segment of Reading for Squares on this podcast, Comrades, Cocktails, and Comics. I don't know if you said that at the intro, by the way, but
oh no, I definitely didn't.
It's fine. You're out of practice. But for this segment in the show that we do, what do you want to talk about that you've read or done or watched or whatever?
So I think what I want to do for mine is, and let me give it one thought.
Man, you figured you'd have something since this was your idea.
Well, I was running it through my head, but then I was like, how am I going to introduce it? And that took all of my bucket brain.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, I'm with you on that. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, if you got something fresh off the dome, you're welcome to.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, things that people would find more relatable or interesting, huh? Okay.
It doesn't matter. Just not something that's books.
Okay, cool. Well, I play a little bit of video games from time to time, Higgins, and so recently I started playing a little game called Resident Evil Village.
Oh yeah,
which is the 8th Resident Evil game, probably in the main series.
Yeah. It's the 8th main one.
Mm-hmm. It's a Resident Evil game, and you think, oh, I've seen that before. I've done that. I've played Resident Evil 4 on every console known to man.
Hey man, I don't know if you did this on purpose, but Resident Evil's is zombies.
I didn't even think about that, but you want to know why I didn't think about the Higgins? Because this Resident Evil. Not zombies.
Not zombies.
Mm-mm. I think it's like werewolves and maybe vampires. I don't know that 100%.
I think I did hear it's sort of like the Grimm's fairy tales world, basically.
Uh-huh. It's a sequel to Resident Evil 7, which I didn't play, but luckily you don't need to because at the beginning of this game, they give you like a 5-minute cutscene if you want to watch the last game.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, it was really nice. But he plays the same main character from the 7th game in this game, and he's looking for his kid because some bad stuff happened and he lost some fingers, but more importantly, he wants to know where his kid's at. And it's just you going around this creepy village, shooting crazy people who are probably werewolves. And then you get trapped in a castle with a big vampire lady. You've probably seen her.
People love the big vampire lady.
She's real big and thick.
Sometimes it's like, I could climb that.
But no, as far as a Resident Evil game goes,
just for a kiss on the cheek.
That's so wholesome. I love it. But as far as Resident Evil games go, I haven't played any since probably like 5, and I heard that the new ones were really good, and I think that the main reason people say that is just something as simple as a perspective change.
I heard it's pretty return to form too, as far as like gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, like there's some puzzle. It's shooting and puzzle solving, and like find a thing to open a thing to get past this thing. Like that's the Resident Evil formula at its core. I think just going from third person to first person, and it being this kind of horror genre, it's more thriller than anything.
It makes you feel like you're there.
It just adds a new level of kind of immersion to the Resident Evil games, which is just silly to think because first person's been around forever. That's nothing new, but adding it to this franchise just kind of gives it new life. The main character is awful. I don't know if it's just a voice acting thing or a writing thing or both, but this guy gets beat up a lot, and I kind of enjoy every minute of it because I don't care about anything he has to say or do. But I do love running away from the vampire ladies in the big castle. I'm trapped in there right now, but I have a feeling I'm going to get out and back into that spooky village.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe I'll come back to that on this segment that you did at another time when I maybe beat it.
Maybe when you finish it, you can tell us a little bit more.
I have to play it in like 20-minute chunks every few days because I'm real scared.
It's a scary game. I definitely won't play it.
It's not even like the stuff jumping out at you. Like that does happen and that is pretty scary, but it's the music and the sound design that really, like, I play it with headphones, and so I'm in there, and every time I hear anything move, I'm on edge, like, constantly.
Oh yeah.
But it's really fun at the same time. So yeah. But yeah, just only 20 minutes every few days because
yeah, so I guess I'll go now. Should I stick with zombies? Because I could do a zombies one, or I could lighten the mood right before we go.
Higgins, I'm just enjoying this cool drink you made me and this new segment you've introduced to really spice up our podcast life. So you do whatever you want to do. Okay?
All right, I'll do zombies then. I watched this movie. It's probably been about a month or so now. It came out not too long ago. It's got Bill Murray, Adam Driver. It's called The Dead Won't Die, and it's very meta parody style zombie movies, kind of. I don't know, kind of a spoof of most like zombie tropes and stuff like that. The only song that plays on the radio is The Dead Won't Die by Chris Stapleton. So anytime they get in a car or hear a jukebox, they just hear the theme song. And like one of the funniest parts of the whole movie is he was like listening to it and he's like, Bill Murray's like, man, this song's on the radio all the time. It's like, why is it here? And he's like, oh, didn't you know it's our theme song?
So they're really just playing into, I mean, that's kind of all you can do with that genre now.
Oh, yeah.
Have fun with it and play into those tropes because, I mean, if you don't do the tropes, then it's not really a zombie thing. But then if you do it and don't bring attention to it, people are just annoyed because it's like, I've seen this a million times.
Oh, yeah.
But now it's even getting to that point where, and maybe, I don't know, did you feel this way while watching it? Like, did they go a little too meta at points?
No, not really. They don't like break the fourth wall any more than just doing a joke like that every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's like, God, what a star-studded cast.
I do like a Bill Murray and an Adam Driver.
Adam Driver.
Yeah.
There's Steve Buscemi in there.
Oh.
There's Danny Glover.
Oh.
Selena Gomez makes an appearance.
Huh.
Uma Thurman's like, man, a little bit of a twist with her, but she slices some zombies with a sword too, so you get some Kill Bill action again.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, it was a good watch. I mean, if you're up for a comedy that's a little bit scary.
Yeah, it kind of fits with this book that we talked about. So yeah,
it's pretty neat.
I can maybe give it. What did you say it was called again?
It's called The Dead Won't Die.
The Dead Won't Die. Okay, how do I watch that on a local Netflix?
It's on HBO Max. That's where I watched it.
Oh, okay.
So it's not accessible for everybody, but
for the select few.
Yeah, at least us.
Okay, yeah, because you used my HBO account, and so I should also have access to it.
Well, we share an HBO account.
Higgins, whose name is on the account page? Both of our names, because
both
I made
of our
profiles,
names.
but that's not important. Point is, I can watch it. That's good to know.
Yeah, no, it's worth a watch. And man, I think that went pretty well. Maybe next time if I actually prepare for it.
Yeah, just imagine what you could do if you prepared for the show.
Well, at least prepared for the bit at the end.
Yeah, the bit that you knew was coming.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know until literally 10 minutes before I did it that it was coming.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I popped it in my dome right at the last second when you said we were going to be a little short.
Higgins, that's what I love about that bucket brain. I never know what's going to come out of it, and I like that. But I'm going to need one more thing from it if that's okay, and then we could probably clean up shop once again.
New book?
I'm going to need two things from you, Higgins. I'm going to need a new book, but before that, I'm going to need you to give a rating on the book that we did.
Oh, man, I completely forgot that we do that.
It's fine. We brought it right back around. Don't worry about it.
Man, it's pretty good. I think I'm going to give it number 87 on my to-do list, which is Ride a Bike Backwards.
While reading Zom100?
No, it doesn't have to be. But I mean, that's extra good if you can do that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you got plenty of time.
Yeah, because
You don't have to go to work anymore.
I don't even have a bike, so it's gonna take a while.
It's gonna need you're gonna need a lot more time, but that's fine. That's fine. I expect you to have it ready to go before the next podcast, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad that you really enjoyed this. I know I picked this one and you indulged me, so I appreciate that. And I got a lot of good stuff out of this book. I needed something kind of like this, and just wholesome messages all around that I really enjoy. This one was a little heavier at points, which I also really like when they kind of fit that stuff in there. So for that reason, Higgins, I'm going to drink 69 beers on top of a roof while playing video games on a widescreen TV.
Hey man, do anything you want.
I'll do everything I want.
And nice, by the way.
Thanks. I only picked the 69 beers because he's pretty horny at points in the story.
Oh, yeah.
But what are you going to do? Obviously, for people who don't read manga, they wouldn't care about this. I don't think this is going to change their opinion on that.
Oh, yeah, no.
But I think that if you are maybe thinking about reading manga, or you've read a couple and you just want something that's fun but also has a lot of heart in it, this is a pretty good one. But yeah, good stuff. Steve's back. What up, Steve? He had a good time outside. Charlie missed you. Okay, he's gonna go back outside, and we're going to leave.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you guys the book real quick. I'm just gonna do the one we said we were gonna do. I had another one lined up last time, but I think this one is more fitting for now.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, we're bringing our one of our favorite author boys back for a new deal, Mr. Jeff Lemire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he draws it. It looked like his style.
He did.
Yeah, Jeff Lemire, and the book's called Sweet Tooth. And funnily enough, Netflix just put out a TV show called Sweet Tooth, which I had no idea they were making until they were like, hey, it's out now.
It's kind of the same for me.
Yeah, they're the same, Steve.
Steve's asking if the show is based off the book. Yes, it is. It is pretty sick. Do you want to read the book and talk about it with us? Okay, so we'll have Steve on the next episode.
Yeah, I actually have that one already, so that's kind of nice too.
All right, well, this worked out really well then.
Yeah.
Excellent, Higgins. So yeah, Sweet Tooth. Like you said, the Netflix show just came out. Check that out, I guess.
Read the book first, probably. I actually already read the first volume. Like, this is one of the few comics that I've read outside of the show in a long while.
God, what a big dumb nerd.
I know.
Yeah.
Big dumb nerd.
That's fine though. If it's on your list, I support it.
Yeah.
All right.
But now we can all read it together.
Like a couple of big dumb nerds.
Yeah.
Just you, me, and Steve.
All right. Well, now let's close up and get out of here.
All right, cool. We're going to close up shop once again. It's been fun. Higgins has things he wants to say about that.
You can find me on the Twitter at MikeHiggins93 and on Instagram at JSterm93. And I'll actually try to post a photo for you guys on this one.
Check it out to see if he does it. And
Check
if he
it out.
doesn't,
It's way more likely that you see I didn't, because I don't take that many pictures, but I'm working on it. One step forward.
Higgins, whatever, as long as you're trying to better yourself, all right?
Oh, yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
But as you said, you're on those things. And if you want to talk to me and Higgins, or just me, you can do either at yourcomrades@gmail.com. That is the email address that I have set up.
So
and
far,
I occasionally check.
we've gotten a few, but we could use a lot more.
You could always use more emails, Higgins.
I'd love to be drowning in them.
So yeah, send us an email. Tell us what you thought of this book if you read it. Tell us what you think of Sweet Tooth if you read that, or just anything else that you're reading or think we should read. Higgins has that new segment now, so we could talk about stuff from that.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
Oh my goodness.
And leave us a rating and review on your podcatcher of choice, preferably iTunes, because that's the one people see usually.
You see that occasionally.
Or the Apple Podcasts, I guess. Yeah, that's the one I use. But yeah, we're on pretty much everything. You guys can find us. The links work better on some things than others. Spotify hates us. But speaking of ratings and review, we got a new one from, I think, one of our friends. It says Long Hair David. It made me feel so good. We got 5 stars, and it says best in the genre. An expose of brilliance. The boys bring the heat every time. Thank you, Long Hair David. That was lovely.
Bless you. Never get a haircut.
Yeah.
Especially if you are our friend that we're thinking of.
And if you do, change your name to Short Hair David so we know.
And leave a different review.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And thank you, Higgins, for being here once again.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you.
But now it's time to leave and go do more things on our bucket list. Drink more drinks, and everyone should do that as well. So until we see you again, I will say thanks and cheers, guys. That's what I say. Higgins will say a thing that he says.
I'm going to I'm making a noise like I'm crossing through something on a piece of paper, and that thing on that piece of paper, which is actually my bucket brain, is number 26 on my list, which is make a podcast about a book that has bucket lists in it.